to Sparkles and Spice. Today we are having a Southern Thanksgiving. Thank you for clicking on this video. We will start our pumpkin pie by mixing a can of sweet condensed milk with a can of pumpkin. We were adding some salt, some ginger, teaspoon of each. I gotta get all those autumn flavors going. A little bit of pumpkin pie spice. Get that in there. We like our pie really spicy, so we're adding some nutmeg as well. And last but not least, get some cinnamon. 2 teaspoons of that. We like it really spicy. Get that mixed in and incorporate it into our mix. It should be really smooth. We have added by then a couple of eggs and get it ready into a pie pan with a pre-made crust. We are going to use the bottom of a spoon to make a few indentations and pour that delicious mix right in. Just like that, get every last bit, and then we have our pie ready to pop it in the oven, 425, about 15-18 minutes. All right, so got that pie out of the way, so we are going to keep going, but before you get to see what it looks like right there. Isn't she beautiful? All right, to keep going, we are going to work on our southern cornbread dressing, and we will start by making the cornbread itself. Mix together some eggs, a couple of cups of milk, get all those liquid ingredients together. Just get them all mixed, add some oil to it, and there you go. Once we get it incorporated, we will get our dry ingredients. Now, don't do what I did. We did not buy the right thing, so this is a mixture of cornmeal and some flour. They do sell it already together, but we can never find the right one. All right, get that incorporated into our wet ingredients. Of course, we're not professionals, so you're about to see some of that flour just come on over my hand. All right, my batter was a little thick, but we set it to the side, and our trick is getting an onion, chopping it up, and adding it to the batter. And what that does is it will soften it and give it some extra flavor. So there you see, get that chopped onion. We like Vidalia onions, but you're welcome to use any onion that you like. Add it to the batter. All right, to keep going with our cornbread dressing, another part of it is the celery. Most recipes call for 3 to 4 celery sticks. I think it's your preference if you want a little more or you want a little less. My tip is that if you cut it smaller, it would be better. No one really wants a big chunk of celery in their dressing. But we're just getting all that together, chopped up and clean. Gonna grab another onion and get that chopped up. This onion and this celery will be cooked together with some butter until softened, and later on you'll see what we'll do with it. All right, so now that we have that done, we will get started on our next side, and that will be our squash casserole. Nope, I lied. We're actually going to see that cornbread that we had prepared the batter, putting it into a greased 9x13 plate. Get every last bit of that batter in so that we can get that cornbread cooking. All right, into a 450 oven it goes, and let it percolate while we start preparing that squash now. All right, so squash casserole is one of our favorites, and it is pretty simple to make. You're gonna chop up that yellow squash. There is no science to it. You can chop it up big, chop it up small, whichever you prefer. It will all get mashed together. The only difference is the bigger you cut, the longer you will have to cook. Once you get all that squash, we're gonna need, you guessed it, more onion. We love onion over here, so onion haters, this is not the dish for you. We get that onion chopped up. Again, it doesn't have to be perfect. We just need it all chopped up. Get a big pot and get that onion in there. We're gonna add all our squash to that same pot. Gonna fill it with water, and we are going to boil it until it is nice and soft. And now we're gonna get going with our sweet potato souffle. Those sweet potatoes have been cooked in an air fryer at 400 for 35 minutes and peeled. The trick to cooking or baking your sweet potatoes before you make is it makes them way sweeter and it tastes even more delicious. To our mashed sweet potatoes, we are adding some real butter. Southern Thanksgiving cooking, or Southern cooking overall, it's really not about being healthy, it's about being delicious. To our sweet potato souffle, we are now adding some spices. That is some clove, some nutmeg. Again, same theme, all our fall spices and flavors. Of course, some cinnamon. And a cup of packed brown sugar. So this is called a sweet potato souffle. I guess some people would say it's just a sweet potato mash, but the souffle part comes from adding an egg, which we are about to do as soon as we get done with this real vanilla extract. Add a couple teaspoons of that. Get that all mixed in and incorporated. This is some 2% milk. Most people use evaporated milk, so you are welcome to use whatever you have on hand. There goes our egg. A couple eggs go in there. You will see it takes a little work to get those eggs incorporated into our batter, but we will make it. Once we get those mixed together, we will fold them into our sweet potatoes and get it all nice and evenly mixed. Next step is adding some raisins. You may choose to leave those out, but we love those. All right, so now that we have it all mixed in, there's another grease casserole dish, and into it goes. You know, we're gonna scrape off every last bit because we are not leaving anything in the bowl. There we go. Got that sweet potato souffle ready. All right, so now we're back to our cornbread dressing. Remember that cornbread we baked? Now we have crumbled into a big bowl. And as I mentioned, that celery and onion got cooked in butter until softened. Right into the bowl it goes as well. All right, so back in the day, back in the day, people would cook a hen and make their own stock. Nowadays, ain't nobody got time for that. Good old carton of stock will do. Put 1 carton in to get started. The secret trick is this Pepperidge Farm stuffing mix. A small bag, always the blue bag. It is already seasoned. Add that in as well as some butter and some eggs. And then we're gonna season. So the main 2 seasonings for cornbread dressing are sage and poultry seasoning. You must be careful with that sage. There is such a thing as too much sage. So even though I'm not gonna say this and you didn't hear it from me, you should never taste anything that has raw egg in it. But do as I say, not as I do. Because the truth is, I wanna make sure that it's very well seasoned. So right now you're gonna see me. No, you did not. You did not see me just try it, but it was perfect. We have added the second part of a 2nd carton of stock. You use as much as it needs so that it's soft in that consistency. This recipe usually makes 2 of those casserole dishes, and in the oven they go. Twinsies. All right, they gotta cook to 350 degrees. And we're putting in our sweet potato souffle. Also, that turkey Gotta get cooked. This was brined overnight with a light dry seasoning mix in the morning, and in it goes. So there's the squash and the onion we have cooking and boiling. We have drained it and mashed. We are adding some melted butter, 1 egg. Gotta get it all mixed in. Now you can use another bowl, but hey, we already have too many dishes to do, so we're using the same pot. Get all that incorporated. Some freshly cracked pepper, some salt. Someone may choose to put some salt when it's boiling, but I'd rather season it after. And then you use some old bread. You can see we're using hot dog buns because that's what I had left over, and honestly, don't we all always have some sort of bun left over? So this is a good use for it. Just crumble it up. What it will do is just soak up the excess liquid in our casserole and also help with the texture as it cooks. All right, we're adding now a little bit of baking powder, and what that does is it will help that casserole get a little fluffy as it cooks. Get that all mixed in. Get our little paint, spray it so that it doesn't stick, and then pour that mix right onto the plate. And there we go. You can add some cheese after it has cooked for about 30 minutes before you serve. Now we're making our green bean casserole. Of course, you must use the French style beans, 2 cans drained, 1 can of mushroom condensed soup. Mix that in, and do not do what I did. After adding that cracked pepper, I got confused and saw some recipe that called for Worcestershire, whatever you want to call it. I did not like how that made my green casserole taste, so if you want to stick to the real thing, do not add any Worcestershire. Then we're adding some French fried onions and get it all mixed in. This will not only add to the texture, but it'll bring some salt to it, so you'll notice we did not salt it. Spray that pan and get that in. Quick, easy, just get it all mixed together, and in the oven it will go. After it has cooked for 30 minutes, we will put some more of those French fried onions on the top and just let them brown for a few minutes before serving. So there we go, into our oven. Squash, green beans, that souffle that I had to take out to make some room, and our cornbread dressing. So here is our table. Yeast rolls, our little turkey, all our sides, and we really appreciate you watching. The food was delicious, and we are looking forward to our next video and our next delicious Thanksgiving meal.